everyone. Today, my distinguished guest is one of the most promising fintech companies, Wallyt's Vice President, Magic Tang. Hi, Magic. Welcome to Soft Talks, and it's an honor for me to host you in here.
Hello, Onur. It's also an honor for me to join the interview today.
That's great. And Magic, I remember that we met like around 2 years ago, I guess. And of course, you and your company. And it used to be, the name was only SwiftPass at that times. And mostly you're focusing on the domestic market in China. And for the audience, can you please introduce what is Wallyt doing as a company? And for yourself, what's your role in the organization?
Sure. I'm now the International Business Development Manager here in Wallyt, and I'm looking after international partnerships. And prior to joining the Wallyt team, I actually worked for Tencent. As you know, Tencent created WeChat Pay, and I was one of the co-founding member of WeChat Pay overseas team. So I actually witnessed WeChat Pay to grow from 0 to 1 and from 1 to 100, not only from mainland China, but also expanded to the world now. And after that, I joined SwiftPass, which is actually the parent company of Wallyt. And SwiftPass is one of the first listed mobile payment company here in mainland China. And Wallyt is actually a spin-off of its international business. And it's a Hong Kong-based entity, a fintech company, which is dedicated to provide mobile payment and open banking solutions. We provide our banks and non-banking financial institutions with specified fintech solutions to equip our banks with solid technologies and capability to against the rising fintech competitors like Tencent and Alibaba. And Wallyt now has served more than 100 banks and financial institutions in over 15 countries and areas. The fintech solutions we provide includes the integrated payment gateway, white-labeled customized e-wallet solution, and virtual card issuing solutions. And also we have a lot of vertical solutions targeting different sectors, like the cross-border remittance for e-commerce and digital banking solutions for banks. Yeah, that's basically the overall introduction of Wallyt and SwiftPass.
Thank you for your detailed answer for my first question. And speaking about the payments, I would like to ask you the leap in the China. I mean, we all know that China has managed to create let's say, almost a cashless society, right? And from everything from restaurants to taxi drivers or online shopping to P2P money transfers, there's everything based on this digital payments, especially for QR technologies. So I remember my first days in China. I came here and I'm using the cash RMB. And when I go to Starbucks store, they look at the money and me like an alien. So everybody gets used to this so easily and quickly, and it's so efficient. So how do you think that how China able to make this leap towards the digital payments ecosystem?
Okay, actually, I think there are two most important factors that have led to the consumers in China embracing the mobile payments. So firstly, China has a huge population, as you know, and the mobile e-commerce market size. The country is becoming, I would say, a mobile-first market, meaning most internet users' first device was a mobile phone. And secondly, the credit card penetration rate was very low here. When the mobile payment options, Alipay and WeChat Pay, were first introduced, people were easily induced by this kind of payment method. And the two giants spent a large amount, I would say, cash in educating their users. So the product adoption and infrastructure investment has led to a quickly adoption of the user behaviors. And a lot of scenarios, such as the electronic red pocket function by WeChat Pay as well as the combination of Taobao with Alipay, it also encouraged a lot of conversion rate in terms of the mobile payment users. And in a very short period of time, both WeChat Pay and Alipay have reached more than 70% of the total population in China. Yeah, that's very amazing.
Great. That's great. Do you have some other numbers, like, for example, how many digital payments made, in China when you compare with the total transactions? Do you have some more numbers for us?
So according to the latest data, more than 800 million people here in China are paying with their mobile phones on online shopping, brick and mortar shops, cafes, and restaurants. And that equals a penetration rate of more than 32.7%, which is the highest one in the world. And last year, in 2019, the total transaction volume of mobile payments increased to 347 trillion RMB, and around 25% up from the previous year. And there were around 101 billion mobile payment transactions in the country, up from 60 billion in the previous year. So it's a very robust growth, I would say. And as a mobile payment solution provider for banks and financial institutions around the world, we can find that not only in China, the Chinese mobile payments is actually also going out to overseas. And like a lot of the tax-free shops, the Chinese travelers have taken mobile payments with them around the world. And from the local diners in Bali to luxury stores in Paris and also in Turkey, we know that Turkey each bank has already provided service to the merchants to accept WeChat Pay. So we could see actually these merchant acceptance has been explored to overseas quite a lot. And shopping with mobile payment apps have become a new norm for Chinese tourists across the world. In domestic China nowadays, the majority of Chinese citizens have already adopted the cashless lifestyle in every aspect of their daily life, like the payments for shopping, for transportations and food ordering, taxi ordering, to social interactions like money transfer, like the Red Pocket, P2P transfer. Cashless societies actually is already a fact in China with the e-wallet QR payment methods.
That's great. And I mean, you mentioned about the years and increasing the increasing period of this years, but what about 2020? I mean, this year was a disaster for all of us, as you know. And, has there been any change in terms of digital payments during the time of COVID-19?
Actually, I would say that the data shows affected by this pandemic lockdown and restrictions, the payment volume of the transaction volume of mobile payments has actually decreased significantly in the first quarter this year. But after the first quarter, we are very surprised to see that this pandemic, this virus, has accelerated the digital transformation of traditional business, promoted their consumer service going digital, like the online shopping, food ordering, even the government affairs. More and more traditional merchants turn to accept the payment online or in-app. So with China's successful control of the virus, transactions have gradually resumed. And in the second quarter this year, the total transaction volume of mobile payments had amounted to 106 trillion yuan, around 33% up from the previous year. And as of June 2020 this year, around 801 million people used mobile payment transactions in China, and it's an increase around 765 million users in March. So that's only in 3 months. With this cashless and contactless future, digital payment has quickly adapted to the COVID-19 situation and even thrived during the period.
That's great. That's great. So far we talked about the past and the QR technologies and the, let's say, the first version of digital payments. But I wonder what is next in digital payments. According to your predictions, the future of digital payments going where? And do you think that the biometrics or any other technologies will step forward?
Well, we can find that digital payment is in rapid development around the world. Stores and services across the globe are rapidly adopting and integrating the mobile payment applications. Not only PayPal, Samsung Pay, Apple Pay, Alipay, and WeChat Pay, of course, but also lots of local mainstream mobile wallets has grown up. The world is going cashless. And in China, face recognition payment has newly introduced to the market, and it has gained popularity as a new digital payment method in physical stores. And Wallyt has been working with some partners and launched the facial recognition payment in China and Hong Kong. It could be a new trend in China. And also innovation never stops. So there must be some new technologies stepping forward, no matter it's biometrics or others. Yeah.
Okay. By the way, we also try to implement the same technologies in Turkey with the biometrics. So let's see in the future what happens next. So speaking about the future of the digital payments, as you already know, the Central Bank of China has been working on implementing its own digital currency, actually, the China's digital currency. And this year, actually, they started to distribute it, and in 4 pilot cities, they started to make the citizens to use this digital currency. I mean, what are your comments about this digital currency, and how do you think that it's going to affect the digital payments in near future?
Well, actually, it's very exciting for us because in Shenzhen is the first pilot city to launch DCEP as a pilot. And Wallyt is actually cooperating with some partners in China's national digital currency now. But because due to the confidentiality agreement, we cannot disclose details. But DCEP is supposed to become a digital version of Chinese official currency. We trust that. For most of the people who are used to mobile phones, it is just a new digital payment option, and it won't affect their daily life. However, the issuance of DCEP is conductive, and it's to promote the internationalization of the RMB and possible to reshape the current cross-border payment system. That's our vision for that. And there are a lot of Chinese people living and traveling outside of China. If they have a connection with China, they would definitely use the DCEP. Of course, there will be a lot of B2B trades that can probably convert it using this new digital currency instead of, I would say, the traditional remittance network. But it's really hard to predict the possibilities, as our knowledge of DCEP is limited. But surely, I would say this is ongoing, and it will be a new trend that is led and pushed by the central bank, because it's sort of the power, the vision of the country, and might be the first of its kind in the world for a government to issue central digital currency as well. The potential is very huge.
And also the other countries' central banks are working on this issue. We all know about that. But China is leading the way on this issue, and I'm also so excited about that. What's going to happen next? So I would like to ask my last 2 questions about the Turkish market, actually. And in the Turkey market, we are still using cash payments, and also the credit card payments are still, takes up a significant rate in the payment area. So I mean, even though the contactless payments with the credit cards are increasing, but our pace is still not the same with same level as China. So, I mean, what do you think about Turkish market? Because you're also a player who want to expand their business to the overseas market. What do you think about Turkish market? And do you think that is there any potential opportunity in terms of digital payments in Turkey?
In terms of digital payment development and penetration, I think Turkey is more or less the same pace with other European countries, where people are mostly used to cash and credit card payment, right? But under the global trend of digital payment, every bit of the globe are having its plan for cashless society. I think Turkey would not be the exception. And to our understanding, Turkey government and regulators are also encouraging and facilitating a digital future, including the issuing of the national wallet, EKM, right, expressed in 2012, a single digital e-wallet supported by 16 banks in Turkey, and the contactless card payment scheme, Troy, in 2016. So I think it is announced that the Turkey government aims at moving towards a cashless society by 2023. So with the friendly policy, I would say, and the other key factors such as young demographic base, because we know that almost 60% of the population are under 50, right? And the high literacy rate, the high smartphone penetration rate, I think Turkey can be a very good market. It's beyond no doubt one of the major potential markets for digital payment. And one key milestone to share is that, of course, I think each bank, you jointly worked with like Tencent to announce your officially acceptance of WeChat Pay. And I think it's a very robust move towards the cashless and mobile payment, right? And in the near future, after the COVID-19, we could almost expect a rapid growth of digital payment in Turkey, both for the local people and overseas travelers.
That's great. That's great. I mean, we are working so hard to implement this also in Turkey. So my last question to you, Magic, is actually for some kind of recommendation. So, you know, you're as a VP of one of the most promising fintech companies in China. Do you have any recommendations to the fintech startups, especially in the Turkish ecosystem? What are your recommendations to them?
I think with its positive policies, Turkish positive policies and distinctive location advantage, I think Turkey, especially its financial and fintech sectors, are growing rapidly, and the investment in this area can be expected to increase. And banks are encouraged to transform into the digital world, which widely opens the opportunity for fintech companies to grow there, to find opportunities. By offering technical solutions to banks in a partnership business model, fintech companies are most likely to roll out its product to the market under bank partners' operation. And I think it will be a perfect match to combine fintech's market know-how and very mature go-to-market products together with the bank's resources in both the clients, retail clients, and merchants. So it will be a perfect match, and eventually they will have a higher chance to finally forge their own winning product together with the bank. So that's our suggestions.
Thank you very much for your recommendations again, Magic. And actually, that's all for now. I mean, thank you for your answers and your participation in Soft Talks. I mean, I told you it's an honor for me, not only as a friend, but also a potential partner with you. And I wish you and Wallyt the best in your business, especially in the overseas markets. Thank you very much again for your participation.
Thanks very much. I'm also very glad to participate in today's sharing, and we also look forward to to explore more opportunities together with Softtech.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye. Take care.
Bye. Have a nice day.